Welcome back to another Y'all Squad mission update. Today we're sharing some of the important missions we've been working on over the past 6 months. As many of you know, Hurricane Helene pushed our organization to grow in ways we never expected. Today, I'm standing in front of one of our expanded fleet of response vehicles. 4 new trucks that have dramatically increased our ability to reach communities in crisis. We've also established warehouses in 4 strategic locations across the country, allowing us to respond faster and more effectively when disaster strikes. These weren't just upgrades we wanted, they were necessary to meet the scale of disasters we've been facing. In this video, we'll show you how we've put these resources to work, from Hurricane Helene to the recent floods right here in eastern Kentucky. In September 2024, the southeastern United States faced one of its most devastating natural disasters since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Hurricane Helene slammed into Florida's Big Bend region as a Category 4 storm, unleashing catastrophic storm surge and triggering historic flooding across multiple states far from the anticipated zones of severe weather. With sustained winds of 140 miles per hour, Helene claimed 219 lives and left behind nearly $80 billion in damage, making it the deadliest Atlantic hurricane to hit the mainland U.S. in nearly 2 decades. As Helene moved inland, it brought unprecedented rainfall to the Appalachian Mountains, dropping nearly 30 inches of rain in parts of western North Carolina and Tennessee. The resulting flash floods caught many mountain communities completely off guard, leaving entire communities in ruin and cut off from the outside world. Just 2 weeks later, as communities were still reeling from Helene, Hurricane Milton struck Florida's west coast. The back-to-back hurricanes created an unprecedented crisis, with Milton's 180-mile-per-hour winds becoming the 5th most intense Atlantic hurricane on record. Its outer bands spawned 46 tornadoes across Florida, the largest single-day tornado outbreak in state history. In the face of this historic catastrophe, the Y'all Squad mobilized immediately. One of our first priorities was restoring communication to isolated mountain communities. We flew into North Carolina with 28 Starlink Standard Kit AX tri-band systems, each equipped with a prepaid Visa card to cover service fees, ensuring these isolated communities could stay connected during the critical weeks of recovery. From there, our response quickly expanded across multiple states. We sent a box truck from our Iowa base to the Avenue Church in Talbot, Tennessee. Later, we dispatched a 26-foot flatbed trailer loaded with supplies to Daytona, Florida, to support communities affected by major flooding after Hurricane Helene and Milton. Then, our field operations director Caleb Beecham led a team serving hundreds of hot meals in Bradenton, Florida. After serving meals in Bradenton, Caleb met up with Sandy Cape in nearby Punta Gorda, whose home was damaged by both Hurricane Helene and Milton.
Everywhere has something. Some people have fires, some people have tornadoes, some people have hurricanes as well. I just say to people that are experiencing the flooding, don't dishearten. Thank God you're alive and you can still bless the planet Earth, and clean up, put up, and make your house as best as you can to tolerate a flood, or either to be flood proof.
This particular home, moving forward, one thing we're going to do, and this is something I would share with anybody who's having this same issue. My mom flooded a few times since Ian, 3 times this year, 4 times this year.
4 times, yeah.
We're gonna, slow down and design this home to accept a flood. This is the house I grew up in. My mom really enjoys this house. I had my 4th birthday party right there over 35 years ago. We just need to make it easier for when this happens again next year, the year after that. It's not the same routine of ripping the house apart and putting it back together, and it's cheaper and more convenient for not just us, but anybody that's has this concern.
You have people that come by, neighbors, and they say, and these are people that need help themselves, and they say, can I help you? And then you have people that are driving around in golf carts and they're making food in their home and they're bringing it to other people. They barbecue, they don't even have electricity, and they're bringing you plates of food. And it shows a love and charity that people don't normally find.
He also spoke with Jeanette, who lost her home to one of Milton's tornadoes.
And so I was just going to bunker down and wait for the hurricane to show up. And she said, I'm watching Ryan Hall. Should turn him on.
She didn't think anything. Seriously, we never heard of a tornado like this happening here in Florida. So,
how you think, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just overreacting. Then I was watching Ryan Hall and he said, put your shoes on, Port Zimerno.
there is a touchdown. So I thought for a split second, should I or should I not? So I just thought, what the heck, threw my shoes off just in case something happened. So I did. I threw my shoes on. I threw my buddy in the backpack, strapped them on tight, and ran also get to a safe spot. So I did, which was my bedroom closet. And I was still on the phone with my friend Maggie, and I was like peeking out my closet, looking at the TV, watching Ryan Hostel. And then she said this that was like a freight train. So when I got to the end of the hall and I looked out into my living room, I lost it. I just started screaming, and my phone from my house is gone. And I was trying to get out, and all the doors were wedged shut because it lifted the house. Most scariest thing I've ever been through in my whole life. And if it wasn't for Ryan Hall and your team, I'd still probably be in the bed or living room, also without my friend's advice. I'd probably not be standing here today. It's God's grace that it skipped my room.
Hey Jeanette, how's it going?
I'm good, how are you? If it wasn't really for you and your guys' team, I probably wouldn't be here.
In North Carolina, Chandra visited with Patricia and her son who were displaced by flooding.
Someone was banging on our door really, really hard, scared the living daylights out of me. So I went to the door in my nightgown, and the lady was standing there with full rain gear on in way up of water, and the water on the street was just starting to fill up. And I said, what's going on? And she said, well, we're having a hurricane. And I said, well, I knew that, but nobody told me that I was in any trouble, you know. And she said, you must move to higher ground right now. So me and my next door neighbor got hit the worst with the highest amount of water coming up. And I was told that the water was approximately maybe 3 or 4 inches above my garage door. I didn't think about taking important documents. I don't have my husband's death certificate. I don't have birth certificates. I don't have anything anymore. And I couldn't think because I didn't realize what was happening and the severity of it. I was too traumatized. I wasn't taking the situation well enough at all. I've been coping poorly. I have been a very nervous wreck. I had people who looted my home when we couldn't be there. They looted my home. And there wasn't much to take because there wasn't anything left. Well, my future would be quite dim. I would be very dreary and very dim if I wouldn't have the love of Christian friends who've just come to the plate and gave us places to stay and took care of us and treated us so wonderfully.
Chandra also spoke with Josephine and Shane Ball, whose family home was completely swept away by the floodwaters in North Carolina.
And I'd never seen water that high in my life. And it was just this black. If you cut the lights off, it was just rolling. And I got back to my son's stove, and that's all I remember. I just passed out. I remember them telling me, Grant was saying, Mama ain't dead, is she? Mama ain't dead. And Angela said, no, Mama passed out, baby, it's different. And they got me to the couch, and that's when Bobo come up and started working with me. Well, my sister come, and she was soaked with her husband, and said, you're going to my house. So we went to Faye's. But I reckon taking it all in, thinking, well, it is a God. By everything you got's in it. You didn't get nothing.
And I got here, and the water was already under the back porch. And at that time, I'd started trying to move stuff up in the yard and stuff like that, and the stuff that was valuable to us, sentimental to us. The next morning was just horrific. Mom had passed out. We worked with her about 10 minutes. She finally come back to, and by then the house was falling in, beginning to shake. And we took her to her younger sister's house, which we would stay about 3 days and nights before we could even get back up here. The road was gone. It was a scary time. First time in my life I'd ever been in a position that I couldn't do anything. No one could come in. We couldn't get out. And my mom and dad needed medicine, and I couldn't get it for them, and I felt helpless. We're not building anything back here. Definitely not. We're going to try to build a little further down the road a piece, something out of the flood zone, and hopefully start our lives afresh again, my mom and dad's at least.
Each of these families received $25,000 from Y'all Squad to help them begin rebuilding their lives. The combined impact of Helene and Milton caused over $113 billion in damage and changed the landscape of the Southeast forever. Then, in February 2025, disaster struck the Appalachian region again, this time in eastern Kentucky, where our organization is based. This wasn't just another mission, it was helping our neighbors. Heavy rainfall on February 14th and 15th caused catastrophic flooding across the region. A dozen river sites recorded crests within their top 5 highest historical levels, including the Lavisa Fork at Pikeville, which reached its 5th highest level ever. Y'all Squad immediately coordinated with local officials, delivering essential supplies to established distribution points managed by community leaders at the Appalachian Wireless Arena in Pikeville and South Williamson. But our mission went beyond delivering supplies. In Pikeville, we met Melissa and Barry Newcomb, who evacuated their home in Mossy Bottom as waters began surrounding it.
But I went out and looked at the rivers, and it was down. It was down more that day than it was 2 weeks prior.
Right.
And the way it came in so fast.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't do anything, you know.
Right.
And my wife asked me, she said, you think we're gonna get stuff ready? I said, no. I said, the river's down a lot lower than what it was.
Right. Where did it get before?
Okay, here. Before it would get up to here in my garage.
Right.
The last time, this time here we measured it, we still might sit, right here's the water right here.
Oh wow. That's actually a lot higher than what it looks like from out there. Can you see that? So this is significantly worse.
Oh yes. This point in time, the water came in faster on this flood than of any of the other floods that we had. We stood over at Elliott parking lot and watched our house get flooded. And I told my wife, I said, we have lost everything we've worked for. Then when we go in, I mean, you're looking at mud, you're looking at floors popped up. We had just remodeled this back last summer in the downstairs, and we just went and bought new living room furniture, new flooring and all, and needless to say, it's laying out back in piles of rubble. The first people that really came around was you guys, the Y'all Squad, and started handing out supplies for cleanup. And with the grace of God and you guys, we now have somewhere to stay. Without the Y'all Squad, Heather McPeak, the churches, I wouldn't know what to do. They have really shined a light for us. But most of all, I want to thank God above to allow all this to happen.
Y'all Squad provided them with a fully furnished 2-bedroom apartment, covering utilities and expenses while they got back on their feet. We also assisted Jordan and Caitlin Hunt, whose home along the riverbank in Coal Run was severely damaged. After evacuating to Jenny Wiley Lodge, they discovered through Facebook photos that their home had been completely flooded, destroying everything inside.
It kind of surprised me because I'd walk out about every 30 minutes and take a look, and I would notice that it would probably rise about between 6 to 10 inches every 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Well, that last time I'd looked before we left, it raised probably about 3 foot before, and that's how fast that the water was coming in. I'd say around 9:30, my landlord called me and he said, get out now. He said, it's going to get bad. And, you know, I didn't really used to it. I thought it was just going to raise the top of the bank and be done. That's what everybody thought. Well, next thing I know, we was getting out, and within 2-3 hours, it was already in the house, is what they were saying. I realized the point of it when I seen the pictures of looking at Walmart, when I seen the Riverside Walmart people posting pictures. I knew right then and there, I said, this is something different. This is something scarier.
The Y'all Squad rented them a furnished 3-bedroom home with utilities while they recovered from the disaster. Our support extended to families throughout the region, including 71-year-old Shirley Anderson in Harold, who lost everything.
The rushing was pretty loud. And I've seen it get up before, but never like this. And the sound that you could hear things cracking and banging against each other, you know, late at night. And it was pretty scary. And then at that point I knew, well, yeah, I gotta run. Coming back and seeing everything I had lost, and it took me years to get, was hard. And, you know, and on a fixed income, how do you buy all that back? You know, you can't. You just got a huge loss, but you gotta rise up and get through it. And I'm so thankful that somebody stepped in, because I don't know what I'd done.
The Y'all Squad arranged for her to stay in a furnished apartment with utilities included during her recovery from the disaster. We also provided financial assistance to the Bevins family, who were facing the loss of their home while expecting another child.
Nothing seemed different or anything. It just seemed like any other typical storm we were having. So we went about our day as usual. I took care of my little boy. One of our family members sent us a text that the mayor of Coal Run had said that everybody needed to evacuate. I still wasn't sure if that applied to us.
Right.
So I called our neighbors and I was like, are we supposed to be getting out of here? That night we even thought about staying, you know, like trying to just get upstairs if we could. Not take things like this lightly. Take them very seriously, because that, I mean, it could be your life too. A lot of people I know have lost their lives around here, and I think about that, and I'm just glad the stuff, you know, can be replaced. I'm just glad that we were able to get out and none of our lives were affected with it too. So then we tried our best to hurry and kind of get all of my little boy's main essentials, his seizure medications, his cough assist, and his suction machine, everything he has to have, like minute-to-minute basis. Time we were able to get every single thing, it was like 12:30 time we got out of the house. When we got down the road down here, my husband's truck, the water was all the way up on the thing. We were scared to death going through it. We thought, honestly, we thought we probably shouldn't have done this now that we started, but, and honestly, time we made it up to my husband's brother's, I looked back on our cameras and you could just see stuff floating. Like, I mean, it was already, we were blessed that we got out when we did. Honestly, it was devastating, you know. We were hoping for better. We were hoping for the best. The whole time that we've been gone from the house and stuff, I could only think about that my little boy's was going to be the one that was mainly affected by this, because his living space is really downstairs with his condition. I want to say thank you very much. We cannot thank you all enough for the kindness and the thoughts and prayers that y'all have showed us. We didn't expect it. We don't feel like we deserve it, really, I guess, too, a lot. But we appreciate it, and we would never be able to express how much it means to us that y'all thought about us and that you're willing to help and make things a little lighter in this time for us. So,
altogether, Y'all Squad committed over $66,000 to directly support these families as they began their recovery. In addition to helping families, we also recognize the importance of helping local businesses recover. We connected with Kelly Johnson, owner of K Fitness, a women's fitness center, whose business was submerged under 3 feet of water just months after completing major renovations.
As a small business owner, when I first opened that door and saw the devastation, I mean, I was just frozen, just mud. There's just a complete mess of mud. I had these boots on and every track just splashed up mud everywhere. Everywhere was mud. The treadmills, mud all over them. And these are very expensive pieces. Those are very valuable to the gym. They were covered with mud. I remember sitting up there in the locker rooms thinking, it's just not going to happen. The numbers just aren't adding up, because each treadmill there is about 10 grand, okay? And there was no assistance. There was no help. We had no insurance. I mean, I remember just kind of calling Sherry and being like, Sherry, this is probably it. I've done this for 7 years. built a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships, and I love people. And you don't realize how many lives you touched. But I just remember standing there by myself. And I swear it wasn't 10 minutes later, you know, just a flood of an army of people come in. And they're like, Kelly, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to go get. This is what we got to do. They took me to Lowe's. We got the squeegees. And I swear, just an army of people come in here pushing water out, cleaning all the equipment. It was just, it's touched me. And thank God for this community that we made it. It wasn't me or anybody that helped. It was the community that opened K Fitness back up.
Y'all Squad provided $30,000 worth of new gym equipment, including replacing expensive treadmills, helping her reopen just 1 month after the devastating flood.
It really was a turning point of us being able to open. That's how it impacted us. I don't think K Fitness would be here right now if it wasn't for the Y'all Squad. This place means a lot to this community and to the women here.
These historic storms have shaped our organization's future, making us better prepared than ever to respond when disaster strikes. None of this would be possible without supporters like you. Every view, like, and share of this video directly supports our mission. And you can make an even bigger impact by donating at theyallsquad.org. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, every penny we receive, whether through this channel or direct donations, goes straight to helping people recover after severe weather. Together, we can make sure when disaster strikes, help is never far behind.